Yo, Jack, this is Tyler here to, in regards to the burden of proof debate that we've been talking about on YouTube and elsewhere lately. I saw a little bit of the debate on Tuesday, and I think I was just plain astonished that this is actually being debated. It seems a little bit strange to me. So my goal here is to settle the matter once and for all. I'm gonna get a few things out of the way. I saw your videos in regards to this subject. I got two quick criticisms that I want to lay out before I get started. One, you asked for empirical evidence in regards to the burden of proof, which is strange. Why empirical evidence? I don't know what your idea of the burden of proof is, but nobody actually thinks that it's like a thing that you can go out and see and pick up and taste and smell. So I don't know what the deal is with that claim. Nobody's even positing that it's a non-physical thing that has some sort of presence in reality that interacts with our universe in very mysterious ways. So maybe you can explain that one for me. Now, if this was some attempt at saying, well, if atheists ask for empirical evidence all the time, why can't I? Spare me. Number two, one of the things that I thought might be part of the problem here is that nobody's quite on the same page in regards to what the burden of proof is. And I thought you were about to do this in one of your videos, where you said, the burden of proof to me means, and I'm thinking, okay, here, he's going to do it. He's going to tell me what he thinks it means. But then you didn't. You just said, it entails a number of things, such as who I'm talking to, how well they know me, how likely they are to believe what I say, the time of day, whether the moon is waxing or waning. And, okay, that's fine, but you didn't actually define the term. So I think that needs to be done. And I'll do so in a minute. Now, I want to be clear. I saw a little bit of the debate on Tuesday. Maybe I missed that. So here's my definition of the burden of proof. And I looked up a couple of sources that agree with me. Dictionary.com, for example. Definition of burden of proof as I'm defining it for this discussion is that an obligation for one making a claim to provide evidence for that claim. Now, this is essentially an ought statement. When I say obligation, I'm saying this is something that you ought to do. And so I got to thinking about this. I'm thinking, okay, can I prove this ought statement? Some people say you can't. They're full of crap. You can. And I thought about it for like 5.5 seconds, and I came up with this argument. Now, before I lay it out, if you think my definition is unfair, by all means, substitute your own. I'll be waiting. You can just leave a comment down here. So here's my argument. It's really simple, actually. Premise number one. Premise number one is that informative statements, declarative statements, are made with the intent that the listener will believe that said statement is true. Number two. If one provides evidence for a given statement, it is more likely that said statement will be believed. Conclusion? If one makes an informative statement, then one ought to provide evidence for said statement, which is perfectly in line with the definition that I just laid out. So, as far as I'm aware of that, it's like debate over right there, right? We're done. There are some minor contentions people might hold, such as premise number one, you might say, well, sometimes people make statements for reasons other than having people believe they're true. Yeah, but that doesn't really apply to anything we're discussing here, so I think that's a pretty lame contention. Premise number two, I should say, is that sometimes you're arguing with people who will never believe you no matter how much evidence you provide. Yeah, true, but then why are you wasting your time on those people in the first place? That's neither here nor there. So that's it. Discussion over. We can all move on. Later.